Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today is a very difficult topic, okay? I don't even know how I'm gonna get through this video because today we're gonna talk about, I believe I have 11 plants. So one little extra tidbit in there, but it's a big decision. And I mean, any of these plants can change throughout my hobby course. It's not like these are like all time. Well, I guess they kind of are, but like they're my all time currently. So these could easily shift. I'm saying that to myself so that I'm not like, so that I don't feel so much pressure to like really make this list like detailed and extensive. And yeah, so let's just get started. I don't want to say that these are in any particular order, but I think that the first couple ones definitely will be, just because when I was writing this list, there was definitely some that I was like really quick to sort of put on the list, and then there was others where I was like kind of like, do I really want you on the list? I don't know. So yeah, the first one on the list is of course my beautiful Philodendron gigas, which I think this might actually need water, maybe not. If you're a consistent viewer, what am I saying? If you're a consistent viewer, you would definitely know that this is always on my radar. I'm always watching this plant, and even more now with this beautiful leaf, you guys. This is the biggest leaf it has given me, and it was grown in my care. It is so freaking gorgeous. Oh my god, I love this plant so much. I recently watched a Kaylee Ellen video, and she put this on like plants that she doesn't really like anymore or something like that. Like they just don't really float her boat anymore. And this was on there, and when I'm telling you my heart literally broke, I almost just turned off the the video because this plant just, it's so beautiful. It has such easy care. It is a plant that I don't think I have ever fallen out of love with because of just this beautiful leaf, the thickness, and its growth. It is a somewhat of a slow grower, but it does grow pretty consistently. So it just finished hardening off this leaf, and it's already working on another one back here. So it's not like really slow or just like painfully hard to grow. It's honestly one of my more easier plants, I guess. It definitely isn't like anywhere near the sort of hard side of the spectrum. Like it's not a difficult plant. It's also not like the easiest whatsoever. I feel like that's kind of misleading. It's an easy plant. I'm sorry. I'm not like trying to like mislead anyone. But yeah, this is such a beautiful plant to grow. I have not tried propagating this one. But you know, it's always on the table. Actually, I have propagated it, but it was from like the, what is the word I'm thinking of? I think I chopped the bottom and then I like extended it or something. I don't know what I did, but I chopped it off of the moss pole, and then I think I just potted the top piece into the pot as well. Also, this isn't a very like vigorous rooter, I would say. Like I don't really have a lot of roots, and you guys can see it's in such a small pot versus like the pole, and the size of the plant as well. Like it is really not, it doesn't seem to really root up that much, at least mine. I am thinking about moving mine to something a little bit more chunky and seeing how it likes that. But yeah, this is definitely number one on my list. Like if I had to downsize my collection, this would be the first one I would want to keep. Next on the list is my Philodendron pilotiflorum, which I know this isn't like a crazy specimen. I have restarted this, and I actually am pretty sure this needs a pot pretty soon because it's just kind of a little bit too much in here, and I know Anthuriums don't want to be too root bound. And this could also just use some adjusting in general, but yeah, this plant is on my favorites for a very good reason. It was my first Anthurium. It's definitely left its mark, and I think I could put this right alongside with the gigas. I have never fallen out of love with this. I wouldn't say I've fallen out of love with it, but I have sort of gone through stages where it didn't look great, but I still had that like yearn for the plant. I still wanted to, you know, put in the effort to grow this plant, and it has just been such a amazing plant to grow. I will say I have propagated this and it is kind of a struggle. I haven't propagated it in water. I've only done like wet stick props, which I think one of them is like more recently. It is a little bit more rooted now, but it's definitely taken its time to get to that point. But this Philodendron, you guys, if I can find, I don't want to say footage because that footage is probably so old I don't even have it anymore. I will try and find a picture that represents almost exactly what I got from Ecuagenera, because I did import this for like, it was probably around like 20 if I'm correct, but don't quote me on that. And this plant was again one of my first imports, along with the El Choco, which that El Choco is long gone. But this Philodendron is a plant that I will never regret ever bringing into my collection. It is honestly such a, I don't know what to even describe this plant as, because when I first got it, actually this is kind of a funny story, I didn't even really like have interest in it. I was just like, oh, like it's, you know, it's a Philodendron, maybe I'll try it, see if I like it. And you guys, I swear to you, when I got this with the El Choco, I enjoyed this more than I did the El Choco. And I think it's just these pendant leaves, you guys. It is such a unique way to grow. Like, you don't really see micans growing this way. There is some philodendron, but you know, that's iffy to really find like this one. Yeah, the main reason why this is one of my favorites is because of these beautiful strappy leaves. And I will see if I can get like the sheen on camera, because I don't really have good lighting right now. It's kind of overcasted today, so, but it has this beautiful sheen, you guys, and I hope the camera picks it up, or you know, I'll insert some B-roll as well. It is just such a staple in my collection, and I don't think I will ever get rid of this. And you know, it's just always gonna be in my collection. Hopefully we can get some big long strappy leaves, because there is some size up. I do have it on a pole currently, which is a thing that I started doing with this one. Not really sure how I feel about it just yet, but yeah, it is just, I love this plant. I don't know what to say about this plant that I haven't said about the gigas, because this is just, they're kind of like right with each other. Like I don't think I could pick one or the other. Like I'd have to take them both, just because they both, I love them both so much and so equally that it's just like impossible to pick. But yeah, Anthurium Philodendron. Okay, the next one is my frydek, which I feel like this one definitely deserves its spot on this list, because it just has such a unique leaf shape compared to like other Alocasias. I can see how it can kind of be similar, like especially like the batwing, or even like the, is it called like the Ulum Domburnsii or something like that? Those like kind of like ear plants. If you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I'm making sense. But obviously this one doesn't have those crazy ears, but I feel like the leaf shape is just very similar in a way. But with those more tricky Alocasias, or just those, you know, that Ulum Domburnsii, I don't even know if that's the correct name, so don't quote me on that. But I think that overall this is one of the easiest Alocasias that I have found, and one of the most beautiful Alocasias. Like, you guys, I love the gigantic specimens of these. Like, I am like dying for one. Like, I swear to you, one day we will get there, no matter how long it takes, I hope. This is just such a staple. And normally I feel like with plants, like with the string of hearts, I, you know, tried it, loved it, and then I tried it again, did not last long, and then after that it kind of just fizzled out. I didn't really try again, or I didn't really purchase that again. And I think I even had cuttings at one point, and I just ended up throwing them out, because, or I think I just let them die. I didn't throw them out, but I just stopped kind of caring for them. But with this one, no matter how many times I have like struggled with it, or you know, it's lost all of its roots, I have still like continued to try and get this plant to thrive for me, and get it to sort of work in my conditions. Not that it's my conditions, I feel like mostly every single time that it's gone downhill is due to the roots, and that isn't a problem now for sure, you guys. Alocasias freaking love leca, and I think this one I'm actually contemplating keeping in leca, just because I feel like I haven't really experienced this amount of root growth with anything else besides like pond that had like a lot of leca in it. And even though the look of leca does kind of bother me, maybe I'll try and find like a cover pot or something. But I think that I'm willing to sort of give up that aesthetic purpose or that aesthetic look for just a plant that grows amazingly. But yeah, the frydek is definitely on my list, and it's actually the only alocasia on my list for the reason of it is the easiest alocasia. With all of these plants, I really try to consider what has been difficult and what has been easy for me to grow. If I'm really like thinking about it, like if I actually had to downsize my collection, I was left with all of these plants, like would I want to really struggle with these plants? Would I want to you know, have fussy plants? And I really tried to narrow it down to plants that were easy in my conditions and that I have just overall been loving and have always, you know, found a appreciation for, with the factor of like being easy as well. The next one is my Brazilian rain tree, which I want to give you guys a scale of how big this is. This is my hand. And they're not open right now because of the light. They obviously they aren't getting a lot of light. This plant specifically is very reactive to the light. So literally when it was under my Brinas, it was perfectly okay. And I think that this is actually getting root bound, and I think that that's why these leaves aren't really opening, because I don't think I've seen them completely open in a while. Like they're kind of just like halfway open or just not completely open. My point being with this plant is it just brings such a like dainty, like adorable, I don't want to say adorable, but it just brings a very dainty and kind of like structural look to it. Like it's kind of like if the maidenhair fern was kind of like a bonsai, almost, I would say. Like that's the closest thing I could relate it to, just because of that sort of like dainty look, but also the way that it sort of like has a what is this called? There's a word for it that I can't think of right now. I literally just had it for a split second there, and then it got out of my brain. Okay, well, hopefully I can sort of find the word for it, but it has this like splaying out feature that I just love, and I actually am pretty sure I need to trim this pretty soon, because with these sort of tree or bonsai sort of plants, you want to keep trimming them so that they don't get like really empty like this. Like you can see like this area right here compared to like the inner portion, like kind of like right here, it is a lot more full in the center than it is on the outside, and that's because you have to keep consistently trimming it back for it to get full. Also, another thing that I did not know about this plant until a couple months ago was that it actually has thorns, which is, I don't even think you guys can see it. I'm trying not to get poked. Do you guys see that thorn? It's right here. Yeah, those things look long and sharp, and I think they actually are. I mean, right now those are kind of new, so they're not really sharp, but as the stems sort of get a little bit more barky, those will definitely be sharper. But yeah, I definitely want to find a better way to display this, and hopefully I can do that either today. I actually think I might have time today. But another thing I want to add is this is the first plant that I ever got that was sort of like a bonsai-esque sort of plant. Like I've never had like really any ficus or any sort of like bonsai type of plant. I didn't even know this was used for bonsai when I got it. I literally just completely fell in love with the foliage of this, and I don't know that I still want to do bonsai. I'm honestly like really scared to try bonsai on this. It's why I was trying to propagate it, and then, you know, I have one to do bonsai on and then have another one to just sort of let grow crazy. But we'll see where that goes. But yeah, this is definitely one of my absolute favorites, and I actually think this does need a potting, which is gonna suck because look at these roots and this vessel. I really don't learn my lessons, do I? All right, now for the next one is this is my Anthurium wavy no ID from Houseplant Care by Houseplant Care, and it is just, this is one of my guilty pleasures, you guys. This is one of my freaking guilty pleasures. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. I honestly don't really know what to say about this plant. It is just such a good grower. It is such an easy grower. It is such easy care. Like, I just water this when I feel that it's lighter than it was before. Like, that's literally it. Right now, I've definitely let it get way too dry, which for like a philodendron, I feel like this would be way too, like, you would still want to continue to let this dry out. Like you guys can see, the sphagnum isn't crunchy whatsoever, so there's clearly some moisture in here. But for this Anthurium, Anthuriums kind of are the opposite of what I've learned from like plant care and stuff. Like, you want to tell by the structure of your plants. Normally, like with thick leaves and stems and thick roots, I would imagine that the plant likes to dry out, but with this one, it's been the complete opposite, you guys. This plant loves water. Like, you guys, I have technically overwatered this multiple times, and these roots are growing freaking insane. I up potted it not that long ago. I want to say a couple months ago. And, you know, we're already about to be to that point where I might have to up pot it again, which I don't know what I'm going to put this in because I don't... Oh, actually, I do. Ooh, I do actually. Okay, I think I do have an idea of what I could put this in. This plant has just kind of blown everything I've known about plants out of the water. This plant loves it some water, and I have noticed that with all of my Anthuriums now. Like before with my Plodiflorum, I was letting it dry out, and it kind of wasn't growing that great. With my brother's Anthurium, Radicans crossed with luxurians, I was also letting that dry out. It was growing okay. It wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. But now I have seen these sort of benefits of it with Anthuriums specifically. They will grow roots like no other if you give them the space to, and if you give them the conditions to. By the way, I have this in my ambient conditions. Again, with that easy care, I really, really need my plants to be just like simplistic. If you are difficult or annoying, like right now, I'm actually currently thinking about getting rid of my white wizard because that plant I've struggled with for way too long. I think maybe I'll give it one more summer, and then if it still doesn't work, it's long gone because I just don't really have the energy or the time. Or honestly, I don't want to say the time, but I just don't have the will or the energy to want to deal with plants like that anymore. It's just kind of like, even with my El Choco, I'm also thinking about getting rid of that one. Because I'm just kind of like, I don't really feel like going through all this trouble just to have a plant that, you know, I could get something that's really, really similar to it. So yeah, this deserves its spot. It has such beautiful foliage, and I want to say, I don't know if this is specific to all of the wavy no-IDs because obviously they're grown from seed. They can be very variable, but with this one, you guys, there is such a buttery, smooth, like, finish. Like, do you guys hear this? Like, if I bring my crystallinum, hold on. This is my crystallinum that I most recently got, and if I bring this over, it's hard to like describe it, but this one has just a little bit more like grip. It like grips your fingers just a tiny bit more compared to that one. It is still beautiful nonetheless, but there's just a very, very specific texture with this one that it's just like, do you guys see how easy this glides? Like, I'm not having an issue versus like my hand is struggling to like brush across this because of it's just gripping your fingers. See, I feel like this one is actually a little bit more velvety versus this one is like buttery smooth. I love this plant so much, you guys. Like, I could kiss this plant right now because it is just such a beautiful plant. And I wasn't a big, you guys, I'm taking a little bit too long on this one, but I wasn't a big fan of the Forgetii, and this one has definitely made me fall in love with that sort of leaf shape a little bit more. You guys, it is so beautiful. Yeah, I'm done talking about this one. I've definitely spent my time. You guys get it. I love this plant. It's also been the first Anthurium for me to ever flower, and to ever see like a big size jump. Like, this was the last leaf. This was the newest, or second to newest leaf, and then this is the newest leaf currently, which I'm pretty sure it's just a tiny bit smaller. than this. It's smaller in width, but longer, if that makes sense. So like this one is really, really chubby and just like, oof, I just want to squish it, versus this one is just like a little bit longer and elongated and slimmer. But yeah, yes, one of my favorites. There's so much more I could say about that plant, but I feel like I'm taking way too long on that one, so we'll move on. You guys are probably going to be expecting this because I swear to you, I talk about this plant in every single video. Maybe at least like once every other video. Dun, 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 dun. My micans. I love me some micans, and I am not going to take too long on this one because I have already justified this explanation multiple times, and if you need to hear it again, it's such an easy plant. The way that the leaves the way that the leaves face you, and they just create, like, do you see this? It has like little antlers right now. Like, I don't know what it's doing, but I freaking love it. And whoa, micans is a hill I'm willing to die on. I will say I have heard people struggle to propagate this one. For me personally, I did struggle with it for a little bit, but this summer I feel like I've definitely sort of I've kind of grown into my shoes a little bit, and I've definitely had a lot better experience propagating this and rerooting it. Even now in the winter with my older like Vanda basket micans, which is no longer Vanda basket micans, but you got the point. The micans that I'm rerooting this winter has actually been rerooting for me, so I feel like I have a lot more confidence in micans and just like propagating them. I can't really tell you like what I'm doing specifically that like helps them root up if you are struggling with them. The one thing that I did when I first started rooting, oh my god, I can't speak. The one thing that I did when I first started rooting them, or like, you know, propagating them, was I used rainwater, and it was in the summer as well, so just be cautious of that. Like, you don't want to propagate them and then stick them in a dark closet, because I don't think that's really going to do much. It was on my east facing window in rainwater. That's the only thing I can really like tie it to. This second time around, it is a little bit different just because these micans, most of them, if not like a majority of them, have roots already that are just like throwing out new adventitious roots from those roots. I can't really tell you what I'm doing specifically that is making them root up. The one thing that I would say is just give them light and oxygenated water. That's all I've really been doing to sort of get them to root up. And yeah, I wish you the best, because I think that everyone deserves a micans, and if you can propagate it easily, even better. It is just such a beautiful plant, you guys. Like, I don't know what it is with me and like not liking plants. This was another plant that I didn't really like when I first got it. I remember I only got it because it reminded me of my boyfriend because of these red abaxials, or like, it looks even darker on camera. That's crazy. And after that, I don't know what it was with micans. I just like slowly fell in love with them and have been, you know, in love with it ever since pretty much. And it is just such a beautiful plant. I just love the way that the leaves face you. Like this portion right here sums up exactly what I love about micans. These like overlapping leaves, and just the way that they're all facing you and sort of like positioning themselves like almost perfectly to just like be so freaking cute. Oh my god. Yeah, done with that one too. Okay, the next one is my Solanum ulianum. This is not my main one. This is actually a couple propagations that I took, which I was planning on selling. I don't know what's happening to that now. They kind of stopped rooting in water, so I decided to move them into an actual pot. This has no drainage, and I just thought this pot was so freaking cute, especially paired up with this. Like, it just has like such great contrast that I think it just pairs so well. Yeah, I have offered this to at least 2 like family members and friends, so I do want to hold up to that, but right now I want to see a little bit more roots on these until I feel like fully confident to give them to like someone else, so that they aren't like they aren't rerooting a plant or having to deal with like root rot and stuff. but this plant has been so easy. This is a terrarium plant, and I think that there's just something about this plant. I will put a picture of Houseplants care specimen specifically because I feel like his leaves are definitely, by the way, I did get this from Houseplants care, so it is a clone of his plant, I guess. But Houseplants care specimen is just so beautiful, and I hope one day I will get my leaves to that size. And I think there's just something about this plant, like the different texture and the color. It is just such, you guys, it almost looks black. This isn't black, I would say. It's very, very, very purpley. And again, it is just such a beautiful plant. It does have a slight fuzziness on the stems and the leaves, and it is I already said that, it's a terrarium plant. But I really do not regret getting this one, and this is another one that wasn't really on my wish list, but it just slowly kind of, I decided to get it, and it has slowly overtaken my heart. And I think there's something about that, like having zero expectations for a plant, which I feel like is one reason why I fell so in love with my Philodendron, is because I literally had zero expectations. I didn't know if I was gonna like it or hate it, you know? And that was sort of how I felt with this one. I kind of had an expectation, but I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do right now. It is truly such a beautiful plant. It grows so fast, you guys, like so fast. It is crazy. And like the fact that this is a terrarium plant and I'm able to grow it out in my ambient conditions. Obviously there is, you know, some things going on. I'm pretty sure that's just from my tap water, but it is just, oh my god, if you don't have one, this is another one that you need to get. I think this one is right up there with the micans. I think with the it's hard to say. I feel like these two are kind of like my Gigas and my Philodendron, like they're right there with each other. I love both of these. They're both sort of like hanging plants, like at some point this will sort of trail. You can get this to climb, actually. I'm not sure where this natively grows. I haven't ever done research on this, which is actually funny. Yeah, enough about this one. It is just a beautiful plant, and if you don't have one, you need one, trust me. Oh, I'm really starting to crash, but we gotta get through this. Okay, the next one is my Florida Beauty, which is a monster right now, you guys. It's actually giving me a new leaf right here. Which it does have some green on it, which I'm very, very happy about. This was the last leaf it gave me, which is a lot bigger, but it's all white. Literally all freaking white. And this crisping or whatever this is, that's for me. I have it like right next to my mirror, and I was wiping my mirror clean and I just accidentally nicked it a couple times, so don't worry about that. But yeah, this plant is on this list for, I don't even think I need an explanation. It just has such a beautiful leaf pattern, and on this list I've kind of refrained from like putting variegated plants, but this is the one variegated plant on this list. Do I have any other ones? No, I don't actually. Well, kind of. I kind of do. As long as it continues to have some sort of green on the leaf, and I don't mean like this green, I mean like actually like photosynthesizable green. Because this will slowly fade to like a white, which you guys can kind of see on this side. It's a lot darker green versus like this side. It's a lot more like a really light chartreuse. But this plant, I really don't know what to say about this one. I feel like it kind of just speaks for itself. It's a beautiful plant. The leaf shape is amazing. The variegation is amazing. The growth of it, it's such a fast grower, easy care as well, again with that same sort of consistency. All of these plants are some of my easiest and just like free-flowing plants. Like I don't ever really struggle with any of these, I don't think. But yeah, this is a plant that I am so happy to have. Yeah, again, I feel like this one just kind of speaks for itself. Such a beautiful plant, and I'm so happy that I was able to get this in my collection. I did get this as a birthday present, and I'm so happy that I did, because I truly feel like this plant just like scratches my itch for every single variegated plant I have ever wanted, maybe except for the variegated frydek, because that one is just like a whole other different pool of wish list. But yeah, this one just cures like all my variegated needs, which I appreciate. It is such a gorgeous plant. The next one is my no drainage sort of, this is kind of cheating a little bit just because it would be 2 plants, I guess. But I'm literally talking about like, I'm going to take this plant and keep it. So I guess this would definitely be on that list. I know it's not a lot, but I feel like the display of this one makes me just, I just love this plant. These plants, I guess, like I don't know what I would do without this. Like this is sort of a plant display that I never knew I was missing out on. Look at all of these beautiful white with like purple little accent leaves or flowers. What am I saying? Yeah, it is such, this is just such an easy plant as well. I just fill the reservoir. Even right now I could add some water in, but I'm not really going to. It is such an easy plant, you guys. Like these are so easy, and they grow so vigorous, and they catch flies for you. Like, what more could you ask for? Seriously, what more could you ask for? I think that that is like the perfect combination. And yeah, just again with that daintiness, I think these little white flowers are just so beautiful and dainty and just like adorable. I love this plant arrangement so much. I really don't know what else to say, because this plant, this whole thing in general has just brought me so much happiness. And this is another plant that I am kind of like never really questioning my enjoyment of it. Like it just grows and it makes me happy, and that is that. Like I don't really have to like struggle with it or decide if I want to keep it, or you know, whatever I may deal with other plants. I don't think I really have to think about it with this one. Like it just is there and it makes me happy. The next one is a propagation, and the one specifically that I'm talking about is this sugar vine, which is a cissus, I believe. Yeah, it's a cissus, and I want to put this on this list, although it is a propagation, because it I never really got the full experience of growing this one, and I was already enjoying it like so much, like just a crazy amount, that I definitely feel like it's a plant that I would want to have in my collection. Like even now, I just am kind of like, when I reorganized my plant setup, I wanted something trailing, but I wanted something that wasn't a philodendron or wasn't a pothos. And I feel like this is kind of that middle ground for me. Like it has such a unique leaf shape that where it can stand out on its own, where I can still enjoy it for what it is, with it still like adding a sort of aesthetic or characteristic to my space, which I adore so much. And I think I've found a little bit more enjoyment now with it right in front of the light, because as you guys can see, it kind of sun stresses. Oh, it kind of sun stresses its little sinus, this cute little adorable pink color, and it is just such an adorable plant, you guys, and I love it so much, and I can't wait. It is actually rooting up for me pretty well, if I do say so myself. I can definitely see a lot of roots. It did take a while, I will say that. It did take quite a while to sort of get started there, but yeah, I can't wait. Maybe I'll put this in pond just so it doesn't grow as fast, because before, when it was growing, it kind of wasn't fully like forming its leaves. It was just like chucking them out, growing, chucking them out, growing, and just like keep going in that sort of pattern. But yeah, just such a cute plant. Oh my god. Okay, I think this is the last plant. Maybe I'll get one more, just maybe. But that is Maranta, and this isn't only specific to like the non-variegated version. I think I would enjoy both the variegated version and the non-variegated one. Either or, I really would just like love to have. Oh my god, I thought I saw a mealybug for a second. Yeah, that would have been bad. I don't really have like a preference. It's just kind of like, this is the first one I can think of, I guess. I don't know why I grabbed this one and not the variegated one. I just did. It's right on my desk. But this one is Marantas as a whole, I think, are so stunning, and I never really like appreciated them until my boyfriend's mom gave me a piece of hers. I never really appreciated the non-variegated version, I should say. My appreciation for them and for this one specifically has definitely grown, and I have two Marantas in my collection currently, which is just this one and the non-variegated version, or what? This one and the variegated version. And I feel like they just grow in such a specific way. Although they are sort of vining plants, they have a sort of way of growing that doesn't really like, you wouldn't really think that it's a vining plant. Like, you would more so think that it's kind of like a crawler or something, which I guess it kind of is. But like, when it grows in something like this and it just sort of vines out, it kind of just has like a bush. Like, it's not really like a vining or trailing plant like the Philodendron micans is. It's sort of just like a bushy vining plant. I don't know, but yes, such a beautiful plant. And I think now, thinking about it, I might prefer the variegated version just a little bit more, because of the way that these sort of darker splotches appear on the white portions of the variegated ones. It's like bright red, you guys, and it is so beautiful, and it just adds like an extra touch to it. Yeah. Okay, I have one more, which I wasn't going to include, but I think that thinking about this list a little bit more, I want to include it. It is I believe this is a snowbush from the last video. I honestly don't remember. I kind of feel like wrong for putting this on my list because I haven't had it for that long, and I'm like I haven't really experienced all of its ups and downs, or like what it likes, what it, you know, how it grows. But I think in the short time that I've had it, I've really grown to enjoy it. I think it's specifically this little dainty like display it's in, and I think that this one can also sort of be on the same spectrum as my Brazilian rain tree, with like the daintiness and just like the cuteness of it. It is just so stinking cute and adorable, and I love it. If I had to leave one behind, I think that this would be the one, just because as of right now I haven't experienced a lot of its growth, so I don't really know what to say about it besides the fact that I just enjoy it and I love how it looks. And it could just be because it's new, but I don't think so. I feel like just the way that it grows is just so freaking beautiful. Oh my god. All right, you guys, so that concludes this list. I think that was like a little bit, it was like 12 plants in total. So thank you all so much for watching. Let me know any plants that you guys agree with and that are on your list as well of like all-time favorites. I feel like I have a very good variety of plants in here. Like, I really try to just listen to what I enjoy and what is easy for me, I guess. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I truly hope you enjoyed. Wait, did I already say that? I think I said that twice. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.